Hey,
Football and other F words.
football and other F words.
You
How
know
about
what it's saying?
What?
Well, I can't say it. Can we say it? Because Don said it on air.
I mean, she said it on air. She did. Sorry, I got a new phone.
It's football and other F words.
It's football and
Coming
other
up your butts.
We're coming up your butt. Oh no. Oh no. I was live on the air when that happened.
That was my favorite thing ever.
I asked Ross to pull the clip of it, but
Well, I mean, I did say
didn't.
like in the chat, like all capital letters, pause.
Yeah, I think we did a good job navigating that like mature adults.
Well, it's a ball show.
It's a ball show.
Whatever show you're going to be on is a ball show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great compliment.
It wasn't too boring. It wasn't too much ball.
No, I mean, like the Jason Eck stuff. I mean, I was very surprised you didn't float out there Jason Eck for Titans head coach.
I did at the very end.
Did you?
At the very end when we were signing off because we were going through the odds.
Very, very end.
We were going through the odds, and she brought up like John Gruden's the last name on this list. And as we're signing off, I said we got to get Jason Eck on that list.
Yeah. I thought in the first segment when you guys started talking about it, you were going to lead into that.
No. I was going to be realistic. I got to bring this mic up. I'm going to have like hunch neck.
Well, I mean, nobody's stopping you.
Well, I don't know if it's going to make sound. I don't know if people are going to be able to hear it or not.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. No, I mean, people can hear me fucking with this metal ball rig. What do they use this for after hours?
Well, I mean,
you can probably plug something up with it.
Well,
I didn't make it any better.
No, I don't think you're using the right knob.
Well, this is the thing that makes it go up and down.
Are you? Yeah, but I don't think you're flipping it the right way. You're tightening your ball thing.
I'm just gonna. You know what? I don't know why I even bother.
Yeah, I mean, you love to hold the mic.
I love that thick, long cylinder in my hand.
All right.
Okay. Yes. Where are we at? Who's in the chat? Let me.
Where do you want to start? Let's start here.
Okay. Right here.
You already started with the up your butt stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, not up our butts.
Up a butt.
I mean, that's just what Don said. I mean, I'm just repeating what she said.
That's how you let somebody know, though. You let them know.
You let them know.
We're coming up philosophy. Titans' new philosophy.
It's just,
I really don't know what to do with my phone because if I put it on this table,
we'll put it right in front of you.
I'm not going to be able to read it from there.
Oh,
I'm just going to put it right here. It's going to slide all around my lap.
Let's talk about Cam Ward and what we saw on Sunday, because I think what we saw on Sunday was a masterclass in defensive. I don't feel like I'm very close to it. There we go. A masterclass in defensive scheming by Brandon Staley.
Sure, yeah.
Because here I sent it to you, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about it on as Dan Orlovsky or someone was like blitzing a quarterback. Hey, a young quarterback's head is already spinning.
Yeah.
Blitzing a quarterback really doesn't affect that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I thought was so different from what we saw versus the Kansas City Chiefs defense, where Steve Spagnuolo was just like, blitz, 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 blitz. And then you go over to every other defensive coordinator and defense Tennessee Titans have faced. They were just like, let's put 9 out in the
we're going to rush 2.
We're going to rush 2.
Put 9 in coverage.
And we'll put 9 in coverage because young quarterbacks do not know how to read defenses quickly enough. And I think that what we saw on Sunday was a mixture of a little bit of lack of separation because of the matchups. Because I think that when you have Alontae Taylor and Eligai Manor, Alontae Taylor is going to win that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Currently, when you're talking about a 4th-round player or 4th-year player and a 1st-round rookie or 4th-round rookie, I just fucked that whole thing up.
Happy birthday, Jackson.
Happy birthday, Jackson. And then, like, when you have that happen, it's not surprising that this was the second least amount of separation the Tennessee Titans receivers have seen this year.
Yeah.
But it's also as a whole, they're the 9th highest amount in average separation. So for me, it's like, you guys have to understand that while these receivers are a little bit, I guess, would say NFL lower class, if you wanted to say, they're still getting separation.
Yeah.
As a whole. But this particular game, Brandon Staley was like, yeah, I got you in the second half. We're not we kind of messed around the first half, kind of played with our food.
You know, I want to bring this up because I think he did something in the second half as well that we haven't talked about. And I wish I had double-checked with someone smarter than me before I say it live on a podcast. But I feel like
Brandon
what's the point
Staley, in having a podcast?
Yeah, touche. I feel like Brandon Staley used linebackers as spies on Cam Ward, which you don't hear too often. Maybe Ross can weigh in on that too, since he's a ball knower as well.
He is.
But, like, you don't think about it too often unless it's one of these running quarterbacks, or not running quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks that can really beat you with their legs, like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, that kind of thing. But where Cam Ward can beat you with his legs is by extending the play and still keeping his eyes downfield. How many of his big plays this season have we seen because he's been able to wiggle around in the pocket, get outside, roll out, whether by design or by necessity, and he just hits this chunk play, this huge throw down the field. So you don't think about it in the same vein as like, oh, we need a spy on the quarterback to keep him from running, but you've got to keep him from escaping and making throws downfield. And it felt like there were a couple of times that it was like Demario Davis, Danny Stutzman, that were kind of just keeping tabs on what he was doing. And when he started to get going, they closed in on him and made the tackle. So that's not, again, like, that's just a note from watching the tape at a glance. I would be curious to hear what somebody like Blaine would have to say about that, because it did feel like in the first half, we didn't really see a whole lot of that. And then in the second half, they're not rushing as many, and the linebackers are kind of standing pat, keeping tabs on Cam Ward.
Well, and I also think that's how you, again, defend against these rookie quarterbacks. And especially when you have a set of surroundings that aren't real man beaters, zone beaters, whatever. Yeah. And to be honest, I think that coaching just really regressed in that second half.
Well, man, look at what Kevin Dyson told us on Titans Talkback. He's like, eventually it's a numbers game. He's like, if you only got like 3 or 4 guys going out on routes and they've got 7 in coverage, like you have situations where there's almost like 2 defenders for every route runner.
Yeah.
And in some cases, there might be a 3rd defender for a route runner. So how do you beat that?
You run the football.
Well, no, you certainly can't do that now.
Well, you can't do that.
And especially when you got guys that can't run the football. Not every down runners.
Buston says Mike McCoy was on the sidelines with a Pennywise smile in the second half.
He was. I don't know
what did we say? I said, man, that guy looks like a lizard.
He does, yeah.
He was like smiling like a lizard.
Yeah.
With a little forked tongue.
You just want to see him like twiddling his fingers like, yes, my pretties.
I mean, that's really this discussion of anything in football is meant to be, or tried to force to be, black and white, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, Cam Ward got outplayed by Tyler Shough, but we're just totally going to dismiss that Cam Ward never gets to go against the Tennessee Titans defense where there's like Aldi cart, getters.
Yeah.
Is it cart getters?
Cart wranglers. Cart
That's
wranglers.
what it was.
I like cart getters, though.
Yeah, cart getters. But, like, that's
Wranglers
who
feels like
Tyler
a rodeo.
Shough was going up against.
Yeah.
And Cam Ward was going up against the number 4 pass defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, the nuance is, to me in this game, Cam Ward regressed. The receivers regressed in certain situations, but the coaching largely regressed.
Yeah.
And this team, the Saints team, is a lot better than what everybody thinks.
Now, that I will agree with. I was telling people that going into the game, that not to just look at the overall records on the season for that team. But, man, it's kind of funny because it felt like there was a little groundswell of support that was starting to develop for retaining Mike McCoy.
Which is, for me, this outcome, great for that. Let's just not do that.
Yeah. I don't think people are asking. I don't think there's not too many people saying take the interim tag off Mike McCoy. Well, maybe they are saying it, and maybe they're just saying throw him in the trash. I don't know. But it doesn't feel like there are as many people that are like, hey, maybe we should give Mike McCoy a chance here. And I
bet there are people that would rather hire Mike McCoy than Matt Nagy.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. You bring up Matt Nagy and people
Some of the stupidest fucking takes I've ever seen.
People get a little fire in their belly.
People read this article today and thought that he was a spineless bastard.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's literally what people put out there. Spineless bastard who has no backbone. He's no better than Brian Callahan. I'm like, let's settle down here just a little bit.
Man.
In fact, he was kind of Brian Callahan before Brian Callahan, except for he was more successful.
Yeah. And that's kind of wild to say.
And he was I think a 5.25 win percentage his entire time as Chicago Bears head coach. Mike Vrabel was like a 5.4 something.
Really?
So it's only like if you take their entire existence of head coaches, it's only like 0.5 wins per season or something like that.
And since people want to boil it down to all these simplistic black and white
no
arguments.
nuance in this conversation. But
just
before we get to that,
there.
coaches, let's just keep continuing to talk about Cam Ward just a little bit. And that's why I'm not big into PFF grades or anything. You guys know that. Everybody listening knows that. Tyler Shuck, technically, on film, played a more sound game.
Yeah, sure.
But I think everything was so much easier for Tyler Shuck because when you are watching him, he's not having to go through his progressions. He's not really having to read off people. He's just like, snap the ball. You're not open. Oh, my second read is wide open.
Yeah.
And let me just drop it in the bucket over there. Like, if Cam Ward was able to play this Tennessee Titans defense in a regular season game, I think that they would score on almost every drive.
I think they would torch him.
Well, when you have your number one just winning double moves flat out with ease, like there's not much to that.
And one of those, Chris Olave,
the touchdown.
Because I think it was you or Jackson. Someone was like, well, Chris Olave did this cool double move, and then we watched it, and it was like, he just ran.
I'm like, he must have hit that double move on him, and then they showed the replay. It's like, no, he just ran by him.
Well, dude, Shuck was so late on the throw, but it didn't matter because he had so much separation.
Yeah.
Right? So, of course, Tyler Shuck looked better, and of course, PFF lacks nuance and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you can only play the opponent in front of you, and I thought that Cam Ward played I think I'm at a B- game.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, I really place the majority of the blame on that loss on the secondary buckling and the offensive coaching.
Yeah.
In the second half of that game.
I think coaching on the offense is a great way to put it because I don't think there's much Denard Wilson can really do. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Denard Wilson to be the head coach or to be the future defensive coordinator. I just think when you look at the situation, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Beats me.
So you're supposed to, to your point yesterday, what was your solution?
Yeah, I was just going to say, rush 9, take your best 2 defensive backs and put them outside the formation.
Which is Amani Hooker.
And Daryl Baker Jr.
Your best 2 defensive backs.
You put them out maybe 5 yards off the line of scrimmage just in case the quarterback's able to get a quick throw out real quick. Just have them out there, shallow halves, if you will, instead of the deep halves. Shallow halves for Amani Hooker and Daryl Baker Jr., and then you just rush 9.
I think the only thing you could do in these situations.
Try to get to the quarterback before he can get a decent ball out.
Well, let's put blitz peel on that in case the back goes out.
Yeah. That's a good plan there.
But there's really nothing else you could do. You can't blitz because if you blitz, that means you're sending, one of your starters more than likely. If you're sending Cedric Gray or Cody Barton, which Cody Barton on a blitz, he'll get there next week. But if you're sending someone on a blitz, that's one of your starters out of the formation and coverage. And I don't know if it's just going to work or anything. Like, at some point, you have to understand that you are not able to run your defense just regardless of your personnel. Because there are people that think, well, if you had Brian Flores here running this defense, he would do it all. Yeah, I don't think so, bud.
I don't
I
know
mean,
about
it may
that.
be better than what Denard Wilson has done, but Brian Flores has also been in the league for like 11 plus years over Denard Wilson.
Well, head coaching experience.
Don't y'all
too.
think, I know this is going back a tad, but that 49ers game when Arden's talking about we didn't make adjustments after, I felt like that was like, we're not sending pressure because we can't get to Purdy. He's got all day. But like y'all are saying, it's like, if they send pressure, that's it. I mean, that makes it easier for him.
But that's why he's a player, not an X's and O's guy, right? Like, I mean, like, that's the thing. That's not evidence of anything for me on anti-Denard Wilson. That's really more anti-Arden Key.
Yeah.
No, I know. I agree with you. I'm saying,
I know
like, it makes it easier for Purdy in that situation.
Well, it makes it easier on Arden Key, right? Because that's what he wants. He wants life to be easy for him.
Well, then, like, it's like he's doing his job in that case. It's the secondary that's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a blame game.
Yeah.
Hey.
We just decide to turn this into a throwing strays at Arden Key show.
Well, I mean, he puts himself in the spotlight.
Well,
Touche.
Okay.
I wanted to say something about Cam.
Okay.
I think there were a couple of those because the deep ball accuracy issue has been a hot topic of discussion lately. And I feel like there were a couple of misses, sure, but I feel like his placement on a couple of those deep balls was just borderline perfect, putting it where only his guy could go make a play. And I feel like that's another sign of development. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
I like it. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
We did it.
If we're being honest, Tyler Shuck, who is now the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't know if that's true or not. He's
it
one
is
or two.
True. Whether he wins it or not.
T-Mac.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I don't remember who put this on Twitter, but I completely agree. If we're being honest, Kelvin Banks is probably the Rookie of the Year.
Ooh.
But it doesn't go to offensive linemen. And that's a guy I was probably wrong about because I thought he's going to be a guard, not very tackly, but he's playing tackle for the Saints. We got an upfront look at him on Sunday, and he has been consistent from day one. So,
okay, you ready to talk some head coach?
Let's talk some head coaches.
Would you like to give? Where are you at on your top three? That's a very buzzworthy question.
I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this today, and I'm like,
what a humble brag.
I was talking to someone on Twitter. I was talking to someone on Twitter about this earlier, and I'm so nihilistic about the state of this roster. Like, it's still in the back of my head that, like, none of this is going to fucking matter for at least 2 more years, that I'm really lukewarm on the candidates. It's a combination of things. It's one, like, sure, the roster's bad, but I think there's promise in the rookies that has swayed me a little off that. Like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was.
How much does the 2024 kind of like play into that? Like the 2024 draft class?
What do you mean? Like,
well, like you say the rookies kind of like dissuade you, but what about the 2024 rookies?
Yeah, and those guys too, like seeing Cedric Gray emerge, seeing Jalen Harrell emerge, even James Williams, when given the opportunity, looked pretty good. And then I've been a fan of Latham and Sweat all along. So, like, starting to see the young guys kind of come together and kind of form not necessarily the foundation, but kind of a foundation, like
a bond.
There's a bond. There's a spark between these guys, and then I start to think like, well, maybe it is, better than I'm giving it credit for right now. But then I think I see all these people that are like, and these are national media people too. This is not just the Titans fan thing, but the national media people are like, well, the Titans got to go find their Ben Johnson to pair with Cam Ward. And I'm looking at the candidates. I'm like, guys, there ain't a Ben Johnson here.
I agree.
There ain't a Ben Johnson in this coaching cycle. I mean, we're talking about retreads versus guys that you might be taking a little too early.
I think there's more Mike McDonald's a chance of you finding a Mike McDonald than there is a Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would be happy with that as well. I think there's 3 or 4 guys that I think fit that mold that I think I would be happy about. And so I'm looking at the prospects of like Mike McCarthy, Matt Nagy, Robert Saleh, and some of the younger guys. And I'm just like, man, I don't know about this situation. Like, I'm still thinking it's going to be bad for a couple more years. But then this week, having a little more free time, this is what I like to do in my downtime. I'm on YouTube searching for like Jeff Hafley coaching clinics and Jesse Minter coaching clinics and all this stuff. And I start watching some of these guys, and I watch Jeff Hafley and the way that he talks, the way he just presents himself. And then I'm watching Anthony Weaver podcasts and press conferences. And then I'm listening to Chris Shula. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of starting to come around that, like, one of these young defensive guys, maybe it is a little too early for them to really take command as a head coach. But, you know, Mike Vrabel was a lot like that. Like, Mike Vrabel at the time, I remember thinking, like, I don't know if he's quite ready for this. Yeah. And some of these guys have better resumes now than Mike Vrabel did when Vrabel was hired.
I think almost all of them do.
But the thinking was, well, if you want Vrabel, you've got to get him now, because if you wait a couple more years, somebody else is going to take him. And that's where I kind of delineate the candidates right now. It's like you could go get McCarthy and Nagy, and those would be perfectly safe hires, or you could take the bigger swing and go with an Anthony Weaver, Jeff Hafley, who I'm not giving up on yet, despite all of the reports the rumors that he's going to head to New Jersey.
But, pretty strong, but hey, Joe Shine is going to be the GM. That could turn into a Trent Baalke kind of situation.
Oh, that would be spicy. Liam Cohen's another guy that I'm like, I was probably wrong on him looking at what he's doing. Dave Canales is the same way. Like, there's not one of those guys in this coaching cycle. But I'm looking at Hafley, Shula, Weaver, and then I would put Minter in the conversation as well. And I'm thinking, like, man, these could be the next wave of guys where all of the NFL seems to be hyper-focused on getting these hotshot offensive play callers that – what did we oh, God, I can't remember the stat now. It's like 16 of the NFL offenses are being run out of – play callers from the same system, pretty much.
Something like that.
Something like that. So now it swings to, well, if you can get the guy to stop that and you get the guy that can relate to the player, like, man, maybe you got something there. Maybe that's that spark. And I listened to Shula and Hafley and Weaver specifically talk, and I'm like, these guys all say how important it is to relate to the player, to build the connection to the player. And hearing them talk about defense and speak as authorities, it's like, man, I don't know. There's something there. Jesse Minter, I think, he's kind of boring a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's boring. I think Clint Kubiak is so
I don't even
boring.
think Kubiak's on the table.
Yeah,
because I don't think they're going to go from offensive guru, whose dad was a longtime coach in the NFL, to offensive guru. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm just saying what I think they're thinking.
Yeah, I guess when I look at these coaching candidates, I wanted to make sure I wasn't falling in the trap that they were. And to be honest, my top 3, coincidentally being defensive coordinators or from the defense side of the football, is just kind of coincidence. It's not because I was trying to overcorrect.
Yeah.
It's because I'm looking at the quality of the candidates and looking at their resume, but looking at also how they speak, how they teach, where they come from, what they've done at their certain stops. And to me, that's what you're trying to look for.
Yeah.
And I am as Jeff Hafley pilled as you could be.
I'm about right there with you.
That is a dude. Like, when I talk about Jeff Hafley, Chris Shula, and Anthony Weaver, which are my top 3, all 3 of those guys are fucking football dudes.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Jeff Hafley and you hear him speak to the media, you hear him speak on podcasts, you hear him teach and coach, it's it's on another plane.
You get bricked up.
You do. You get bricked up. You get red
Can't
hole.
help it. Yeah.
And it's like, remember how Brian Callahan, when he first got the job, he would talk about the X's and O's, and it's like, oh, man, this is all awesome. Jeff Hafley does that every week in Green Bay, but he also enacts his plan because he is the defensive head coach, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's also the thing is, like, when you look at Anthony Weaver, when you look at Jeff Hafley, when you look at Chris Shula, and even Jesse Minter and stuff, like, those guys are the defensive head coaches. They are head coach number 2 for their thing. They're calling plays. It's not like Brian Callahan. It's not even like Matt Nagy going from Kansas City to Chicago. They are legit already exhibiting head coaching tendencies.
And they have to because their head coaches are the offensive play callers. So,
right.
Like, those guys are not like the division of labor there is like you are practically split into, and as the defensive coordinator, you are the head coach of your unit.
Right. And I think that also goes a long way into seeing some of these coaches. Like Kyle Shanahan was with Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
So Dan Quinn, defensive guy, was a head coach, but he's also overseen mainly the defense. Oh, here comes head coach Kyle Shanahan, who had to go and meet with Matt Ryan before their Super Bowl run at some summit to try to figure out what the fuck was going on between Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan. Like, if you look at Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans, those guys were defensive head coaches, and they were the head coach of that defense. And then there was the actual head coach. Like, to me, Raheem Morris is another one. Brandon Staley is another one. Not all these are successful head coaches. But at the same time, they were never truly underprepared for their jump.
Sure.
And I think for Brian Callahan or other examples across the league, some of these, like the Andy Reid coaching tree, right? They were underprepared. The Bill Belichick coaching tree. They're underprepared because Bill Belichick does everything. Andy Reid does everything besides Steve Spagnuolo.
Belichick's a great example of this.
But I mean, like, those guys aren't really preparing their coaches for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
Because they're control freaks. They're micromanagers. And if you go look at Matt Nagy, he was a non-play calling offensive coordinator for 2 years, and 3 years before that, he was quarterback's coach. 5 years as a position coach of some sort with no real power. Then he suddenly becomes a head coach. He has no fucking clue what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you look at Brian Callahan, who had an even lengthier, more well-rounded, extensive resume, and he didn't really understand the true responsibilities of being a head coach in the NFL. Like, he knew him, right? Like, but he didn't know, he wasn't prepared for him.
Yeah.
He never coached on the other side of the football. He never knew this or he never knew that. Like, you go look at Matt Patricia, who never really had control of the defense over in New England. Then he goes and beats the head coach. Like, Josh McDaniel, same thing. You can pull from all these different places and be like, man, they never, like Liam Cohen, right? I think is a great example. I didn't think Liam Cohen was going to be as good a head coach as he was.
Didn't either.
And because he was the head coach of the offense, because Todd Bowles was the defense, he was able to do that. So, like, for me, I'm looking for that kind of experience right now. I understand that there's, like, prior head coaching experience, and then there's young head coaching experience. And for me, I'm looking at, like, to your point, Jesse Minter, but also Chris Shula, Anthony Weaver, and Jeff Hafley. Jeff Hafley has the most experience out of all of them because he's been a head coach of a college team.
He has. Boston College.
Who knows how to talk to the people.
Yeah.
Like, the players that he is going to be coaching, he knows how to relate to them. And Jeff Hafley should be number one on your list. Unfortunately, unless Joe Shine is really that much of a dumbass and nobody likes him,
it's possible.
Jeff Hafley is likely to be the Giants head coach.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
His mom lives 15 minutes away from the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
He bought 30 tickets this year to the Green Bay Giants game for his family to go because he is a Jersey boy.
Yeah.
If the Giants don't hire Jeff Hafley, they're the biggest fucking idiots I've ever seen in my life.
They are.
Like, Jeff Hafley is the number one guy on my list because he has the head coaching experience. He knows how to talk to the young players. He knows how to talk to Micah Parsons all the way down to an undrafted free agent. He has a good coaching candidate list for, like, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. That dude fucking knows
also,
ball.
We talked about this a lot with Brian Callahan and some of the quarterbacks he was around throughout his career. With Jeff Hafley, like, I'm watching one of his Ohio State clinics for when he was I think he was the co-defensive coordinator there for a season or something. And he's talking about Darrelle Revis. He's talking about Richard Sherman, guys that he got to coach a little bit and spend some time around too. So, like, that track record of kind of understanding greatness and being able to facilitate that's another box that he checks.
Yeah, for me, when you look at this team, there are 52 other guys on this team.
Yeah.
There's so much more that what this team needs than just a Cam Ward handholder.
Yeah.
Like, we're not letting, there's no reason to breastfeed Cam Ward throughout this whole thing.
And that's a visual. I'm curious though, how do you approach this idea? And I, again, like, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with this, but the idea is out there. Well, if you go with a defensive head coach, then you're going to be constantly worrying about replacing the offensive coordinator because those guys get snatched up if they do a good job.
Well, that's kind of why I like a Jeff Hafley or a Chris Schuler and Anthony Weaver, because there's always going to be a constant pool of candidates to hire from.
Yeah.
Because if you look at how the Rams have done their whole entire operation,
it's a system. It's
a system. They're promoting from within.
Yeah.
Jeff Hafley just has been around for forever and knows all these people and has been around different situations. He has a thick Rolodex.
Mm-hmm.
And for Anthony Weaver, it's kind of the same thing. He's kind of a mix between the two, right?
Yeah, sure.
There are a lot of capable offensive coordinator candidates in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that he's crossed paths with at Houston. Like, there are times where Anthony Weaver has such an extensive, it's like an extensive Rolodex, but it's also a self-replicating Rolodex for Anthony Weaver. Like, he is the best of both worlds in that sense for offensive coordinator, that I think you could find guys. And I also think that offenses nowadays aren't that drastically different with how they're taught or coached. It's how they're run.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I think that's something that I've learned the last couple of years, is that it's not like there's some truly innovative new design stuff out there.
Yeah, like,
that a lot of these offenses are running similar concepts. It's just more of a matter of feel, rhythm, and that sort of thing in terms of play calling.
Like, if you look at Anthony Weaver, what's the difference? These are three guys on the staff that's not named Frank Smith on the offensive staff for Miami. Eric Stutesville, John Embry, and Bobby Slowick. There's not a real difference between the two, or the three, in terms of experience, design, and all that kind of stuff. What they work with. So it's all about feel and your relationship with them. When you're hiring a defensive head coach, does the offense complement your defensive philosophy? I think that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because if you're an aggressive guy and you want to blitz all the time and you want to do it this certain way, you have to have an offense that can be like, okay, our defense or our offense may only be off the field for like a minute because these guys are so aggressive.
Yeah.
So can we eat up time and eat up time of possession?
Yeah.
If we are a bend, don't break, okay, can our offense in a pinch score really quick like that?
And it's interesting you say that, because that's kind of the thing fans were frustrated with it, but it kind of makes you wonder if that's kind of the thing with Mike Vrabel. Whereas, like, he knew his defensive style and he wanted guys that would complement that.
Yeah. And I think when you kind of look at these three guys, I see leaders, different styles of leadership.
Yeah.
But I see leaders. And I thought when you kind of look at Brian Callahan, the tenure here, it just seemed a little haphazard. I think is a great way to put it. It was like, didn't stay true to yourself. You were kind of pulling for, you're trying to be other people.
Well, and we had the quote from, oh God, who was it? Was it Amani Hooker? That was like, oh yeah, it's nice to see him in some defensive meeting rooms every once in a while. It's like, you know, you wonder, okay, well, how's the connection building, the relationship building if like these guys aren't even seeing you?
And there's probably no real original ideas anymore when it comes to coaching and stuff. Like,
I have a theory about that. Yeah.
Okay. But when you look at how, I guess I look at it this way. Whenever Brian Callahan talked about something new he was implementing, it was always in reference to someone else. But, dude, what are you wanting to do? Like, we've been rewatching Ted Lasso recently for like the 5th time. But Ted Lasso always kind of like did stuff his own way.
Yeah.
And it may have confused other people, but it was his thing.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like Brian Callahan was trying to stay true to himself. And Matt Nagy didn't either. I mean, like, this is not a, indictment of Brian Callahan as much as an indictment of young coaches who don't want to stay true to them.
Well, and I think
play and coach within yourself.
Like, you probably,
I have to really pee, by the way.
You have to.
Ross, can you come in here real quick and take over and
yes, I'll be in there in just a jiffy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have to pee so bad.
I just wonder if it's like inexperience, maybe, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but maybe there's more.
Dude, I know so bad.
There's more to it than these guys understand when they become head coaches. So they're flooded with new responsibilities, and then they hear the clock ticking. And it's like especially here in Tennessee, when like you've just signed on to be the head coach of a team that's like cycling through coaches, GMs, everybody's getting fired. Welcome to the stage, Ross, everybody, by the way.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Zach took down some drinks before the show, and then I feel like every time I looked up in there, that Celsius was just getting down.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. He should have just pissed his pants.
That would have been great content.
But I feel like ultimately it was one of those situations, to Zach's point, where, and he's right, like, this isn't just a Brian Callahan thing. I don't want people to think we're just like still, we're the dead horses over there and we're just curb stomping it or anything like that. But it's a situation where when the chips are down, when you're faced with the adversity, do we know who you are? And it kind of goes into that question about identity with the team too. It's like that there was never any real glue there to where we knew what to expect out of this Titans team if they faced adversity. So to me, it's why I'm not looking at it as offensive and defensive. I'm looking at it as just get the guy that's going to form that identity and relate to the players.
See, I think, like, I know people get sick of the Vrabel talk, but you always do what you have with Vrabel, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was that Titans tough mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned this on Cover 2 a few weeks ago to Blaine. Like, I feel like that's what we've always had as a franchise until recently, is that Titans tough mentality. You can get sick of it or whatever, I understand, but, like, you want to have some culture to play behind, that your players can rally behind, that your fan base can rally behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had forever, and now it's like, I don't know if it's just because of the times changing and the NFL looks different now with all the rules and how offenses and defenses are ran, but it feels like that identity is kind of gone, and it's more just flash and
Well, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we heard Nate Washington talking about that.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this team's DNA? You all right? You feel better? So much better. Yeah. Oh, man. Been there before.
No, they said good thing the podcast is not running the hurry up. They were able to do the change.
How about that?
Seamless transition.
Seamless transition.
That's
he
like
says.
he's like Callahan. I'm Halfley. And
There
then
we
now
go.
He's got to be. Who's the coach after Halfley?
Ooh, Jason Eck.
He's Jason.
You're Jason
Eck.
Yeah. So that's what we kind of got the conversation back around to, understanding the identity. And when the chips were down, when the adversity was there, it kind of felt like we didn't know who Brian Callahan was.
Fucking warm.
Yeah. Did you piss a little in it before
No, I'm
you got
talking
up?
about the seat, the
Oh,
leather.
okay,
The
okay.
leather.
The leather's warm.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross got them heated cheeks, I guess.
You're welcome.
He does. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, talk about what Nate Washington said last week.
I
Like,
just did,
I mean,
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing that this team needs is the defensive head coach who is going to be like, all right, our defense is really good. Just do enough to get us the ball back,
This
or
is
just
who
do
we
enough.
are. This is who we are.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for also Cam Ward to experience.
I don't think so either. No, and I think, man, there's just if you've got a system in place that you can pluck from, then you do find the guys that you vibe with, that have the connections, that can relate to the players. Like, it feels like that is becoming an increasingly important thing in today's game, is like your ability to relate to the players and connect to them. And it was something that, like, Chris Shula was talking about on Green Light with Chris Long, is like,
Who Chris Long is a terrible podcast host.
he does have some like boring moments, but
He's so fucking boring.
we shouldn't talk too bad about him in case we do a show with him one day. You
Yeah,
know?
well, that's true.
I heard Chris Shula talk about how I don't remember now actually what I was going to
Oh,
say.
sorry.
I
I didn't mean
remember.
to derail you on
No.
that Chris Long
Well,
sucked.
now I'm thinking maybe it was Anthony Weaver that was talking about it, and I'm getting my
Well, what
coaches
what
mixed
did the
up.
coach say?
Basically talking about relating to the players, like understanding that the players want to know why so that they can do a better job,
Okay, that is the Chris Shula.
and entertaining that and being willing to coach those guys up, because in the old days you would be told just do it.
Yeah, that was Chris Shula.
That
And
was
Chris
Chris Shula.
Long said
Yeah.
in the old days there. So that was
So-
Chris Shula, because he also said, like, we specifically go for smart players,
Yeah.
above the average smart players, because it's like talking to another coach.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what Chris Shula said. Anthony Weaver, I thought, gave. Let's go to the Anthony Weaver file folder. I've created a lot of file folders for these. head
Oh,
coach
it's been
candidates.
sitting. It's been open for about
There he goes.
How about that?
however long the
Look at that.
podcast has been going.
So-
38 minutes.
Anthony Weaver talked about. Trying to remember which is first.
On being a coach in the something.
Anthony Weaver.
In the eye of the storm.
No, what's the one before the eye of the storm?
It's in alphabetical order.
Oh, do it by date or time.
Mm.
So
There's two at 12-12. The other one is on his scheme being simple to digest but difficult on the offense.
No. What's the one that's about 2 minutes long, just like the other one? The Eye of the Storm one. It's about I think I put in there overcoming adversity or something.
Yeah, new defense and the adversity that
Okay.
comes with that.
So the hardest thing about about finding a new head coach, and this is something Diana Rossini said, but also stuff that Blaine said, we have talked about as well. But it's like finding out how someone handles adversity in the moment, how a head coach handles adversity in the moment. And these are long clips by Anthony Weaver, but I think they are so worth listening to in its full. And because he is talking after the week 3 loss to Buffalo, and he is talking about a specific incident on the sideline, specific moments in that game where he's had to overcome difficult moments in adversity. And this is what Anthony Weaver had to say.
I do. I think our defense, while it'd be very easy to sit here and say, like, yeah, we should pick up right where we left off from a year ago. It's an entirely new defense, right? You have an entirely new group of safeties, right? Our 3 starting corners right now got here during training camp. Bradley Chubb did not play a year ago. Jalen Phillips played 3 games. We have 2 new starting rookies on defensive line, along with Sealer and Jordan Brooks and T-Dot. So we're definitely going through some growing pains. On the short week, right, here's what I'll say. They came out early, and I didn't think we were playing physical enough. I thought they punched us in the face early. Our response to that wasn't what I would think would put us in position to respond accordingly. We reacted. There was some chaos on the sideline. And when that happens, like, you're just not going to play good connected defense. You start worrying about the previous play instead of the play that's in front of you. We addressed it. We faced it head on. And in the midst of the storm, we righted the ship, right? Whatever happens, happens. We started the ball rolling. We didn't have the best response to adversity right after the punt situation, and we give up a touchdown. But through that, I know that they understood the point. Going into that game, I said it was all about trust. Trusting one another, trusting the coaches that you know your job and you go out and execute at a high level. Got punched in the face early, and that trust flew out the window. We got it back in the second half, right? Even we gave a touchdown early in the second half, right? Guy scrambled on along with something like that. But the response was much different. They came back, we talked, we worked through our issues, and we were able to go out there and get a stop. That's what needs to continue to happen. But I'm not going to know about those things as a coach with this particular group until they happen, right? And on a short week, we learned a lesson. So hopefully those lessons carry over this week and they understand like what it takes to play connected team defense. And to build on that, whether it's takeaways, stopping the run, like I'm old school. I may sit up here, I'm a nice guy, I smile, I do all those things, but all of our problems that we need to solve can be solved through violence. Yeah, they want to legislate it out of the game, but we play defensive football. And in defensive football, at some point, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to stick my helmet under this guy's chin, and I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to violently take the ball away. And that's what we need to do. With a steely-eyed focus, with resolve, with resiliency, and we're going to stop people. And I'm determined, we're all determined for that to happen.
In the middle, I mean, he's describing what is going on in a game.
Yeah.
And the adversity he has to overcome. Like, when Braden Gall and Nick Suss on 440 Sports brought up Anthony Weaver, I mean, I literally text Braden and say, psych.
Yeah. Well, because
and then now you're like, you start digging into Anthony Weaver, the person, Anthony Weaver, the coach. You're like, he's a fucking ball coach.
He's got, that's some fire. That was boiling up inside of him. I think he was ready to hit somebody.
Yeah. What's funny is that I came across this presser by going to a podcast by Kyle Krabs, who works for Locked On Dolphins, but he's been on TDN, all these other places.
And A to Z Sports.
Oh, yeah. A to Z Sports, wherever that is.
Come on, man.
But, like, I came across it on that, and he didn't play any of the clips, but he talked about how it was a fiery press conference. That's about as fiery as it gets for Anthony Weaver in the media. There's another clip later that maybe we'll have time to play, but it's like, that's a guy that you look at, just like Jeff Hafley, just like Chris Shula, like, that guy just fucking loves football.
He does, man. And he's got that passion, like, and I feel like you have a little bit of that fire in your belly. You have that passion. You care about your players. Like that's kind of what comes through in that press conference without shaking any confidence.
Right.
Adding that at the end, like, these are lessons. He mentioned something about, like, I'm not going to know these are issues until they happen. And when they happen, we got to make sure that they're lessons
he
that
corrects
we learn
them in
from.
the moment.
Yeah, correcting them in, like, I don't know, man.
On the sidelines, he's correcting these in a moment. Now, as a head coach, you probably won't have that kind of hands-on approach, but at least you'll have hopefully hired people that can do what you want to be done without having to go over there and handhold yourself.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I haven't seen I haven't come across a piece of media yet that has made me think, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, and again, the only people I've heard tied Anthony Weaver to this job opening has been Braden Gall specifically. And the reason I bring that up is because Braden Gall of 440 Sports was telling everybody about the animosity or the batting of – it's not batting of heads. What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Butting of heads.
Butting of heads. Okay.
The butting of heads between Rand Carthon and other people, and Rand Carthon may not be as proactive as other people in the building want him to be. Like, Braden was like the first one. I'm like, I just can't believe it because, I mean, we've read and heard of all these things about Rand Carthon's work ethic. But way before PK put out the sleeping on the plane stuff, Braden did it that summer.
Yeah.
Before the 2024 season even started, Braden was on it.
So, well-connected.
Well-connected. So
Well-sourced.
I'm just going to say that until I see the actual official interview list not include Anthony Weaver, or Anthony Weaver doesn't make it to the second round, I think Anthony Weaver is a serious candidate, and I think he should be.
What do you think about Anthony Weaver? Maybe, I don't know. Does Anthony Weaver retain Denard as his DC?
He could. They have a working relationship. And they kind of
paths.
have a similar philosophy in terms of roster building as far as this year in that same press conference, like Anthony Weaver's like, I'm the cook.
Yeah.
You give me the ingredients, I'm the cook. Denard Wilson's kind of had to been like the cook of a shitty ingredient list too.
It's funny. I found some little boy on YouTube that was breaking down Dolphins defensive film, and
some little boy.
Yeah, he's
Good thing you added on to that.
I found this little boy on YouTube
breaking down Dolphins defensive film, and I don't know how accurate some of his stuff was, but at least a chance to have a conversation about some of the things that Anthony Weaver runs down there. And a lot of it, I'm looking at their personnel and I'm like, man, I bet Denard Wilson would really like to run some of that stuff, but he can't because of these players.
Right.
So, and then learning like how they cross paths, they have a working relationship together. Look at what Denard's done. It kind of feels like he would be a good steward for this type of defense. Like they're already on the same page there.
Well, I think it's funny because first off, I don't think people really. The more I watch these press conferences from other media markets, the more I'm like, yeah, our Titans one isn't as bad as what people want to say.
No, I don't think so either.
Because I'm watching. So this Miami one, he talks about the violence.
Yeah.
And then he talks about doing his assignments. And they're like, well, and he's talking about violence and all this stuff. And someone goes, well, a couple weeks ago, you said that you wanted your players to do their assignments. What's changed? And he goes, I didn't say that I don't want them to do their assignments. I didn't say that I want them to go out of structure. I want them to do their assignments violently.
Yeah.
I want to change the math on run fits by using violence.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just a dude that gets football in general.
Mm-hmm.
And really his scheme is simple for the players, complicated for the defense. And I think once you start getting to that zone as any kind of coordinator, if you're making your offense simple on your players, but difficult on the defense. If you're a defensive coordinator, making it simple on the defense, but making it difficult for your opposing offenses. That's what you want. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just think that all three of these guys, Jeff Hafley, Chris Shula, Anthony Weaver, all hit that sweet spot. They're all excellent communicators. They're all clear in what they want to accomplish as a team, what they want to be as a team, and how to adapt around their surroundings. Now, You get into the muck, you get in the mire, you add a few extra responsibilities on their plate that they didn't have before. Maybe things are different. But if I'm a betting man and I'm betting on first-timers, I'm betting on those 3 first-timers. I'm not betting on Clint Kubiak. I'm not really betting on Jesse Minter because those guys don't captivate me.
Yeah.
And if they're not captivating me, a nerdy 40-year-old who will be captivated by seasons of Chuck.
Yeah.
If you're not captivating me, who can sit there and watch Southern Charm, you're not going to captivate the next generation of athletes.
Yeah.
As a head coach, you could do that in small amounts of times. You could do that as a coordinator, but likely not as a head coach. It's the reason why Bobby Sloak is not an offensive coordinator anymore.
Fair enough.
And so I look at that, and not to say that those guys in the future won't be successful, but you have to – this team right now needs such a specific temperament to it to match Cam Ward. And I think you're going to find that on the defensive side, not the offensive side.
Yeah, well, I mean, who are the offensive candidates outside of Clint Kubiak? Because all
Davis
these guys,
Webb.
all these guys keep getting hired up.
And I think Davis Webb is a good guy, but I mean, like, a good candidate, but is he a good candidate right now?
Nate Schoolmouse.
Yeah, Nate Schoolmouse.
These guys, they're promising, but you don't know. Like, they don't seem ready by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it's just like at some point you have to understand the timing of it all. And that's why I think that a lot of the offensive guys are the older guys. That's why I think you have a Matt Nagy or a Mike McCarthy being connected less so than a Davis Webb or less so than a Mike LaFleur. I'm just throwing out names out there, or Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
I think it's because the list has kind of leaked, but not leaked. And when you're looking at, like, the names being constantly brought up by national media, and I'm sure there's some, they're pocketing stuff. It's just that offense is not the way to go right now in this particular cycle. And that's why I'm not, I'll defend Matt Nagy's resume and reputation because I think there's so much nuance and context. But it's also, I'm not really for Matt Nagy in my top 5, or I'm not really for Mike McCarthy in my top 5 because I think this isn't the right time for those guys. It's still the right time to make a bold move and stay committed to a young coach.
Yeah.
And build it the right way.
Well said. And I think you have 3 guys there that we're talking about. I don't know how you are about Jesse Minter. I'm just not sure that he can be that guy that captivates.
Yeah.
I've watched some of his mic'd up clips with the Chargers, and I'm like, this guy's out on the field like, hey, way to go, man. Like, well, you know what? Next time if he does this, you need to do that. And I'm like, no, I want a guy that's like coming up your butt. Like, get in there, Get
all up in there.
Yeah. So people that missed the beginning of the show are not going to understand that at all.
Yeah.
But
let's go back to 3HL on Monday to listen to Don Davenport say that.
My theory about offensive innovation, I think, plays a role in this conversation. That you're not practicing as often as you were, 15, 20 years ago. We've talked a lot about these development issues with specifically quarterbacks and offensive line. We've talked about offenses like the Vols offense, the Liberty offense, the Ole Miss offense. Wide receivers aren't having to do as much. Tight ends are used like afterthoughts in college football these days, not to mention defense. So you have this issue where guys have to get up to speed on an NFL playbook to begin with. You have less time to practice. Therefore, maybe true innovation is cold for a bit because coaches don't have the time and opportunity to really work on it with their players. And even if they did, they've got so much work to get these guys up to the NFL level that they just don't have the resources to truly innovate anymore. That's my theory. And if that's true, if I'm right about that, important qualifiers, if this plays into the whole thing, that's why we're starting to see more emphasis being placed on skill sets from coaches that can connect to players, can relate to players, can communicate, can teach, because those are more valuable skills right now than creating some entirely new play or passing concept that nobody's ever seen before.
And I think there's, to layer into that, I think there's a difference between, and Mike McCoy, I'm going to butcher this, but Mike McCoy kind of said something similar. It's like, teach but not critique. And that's not really what he was really saying at the time, but like, be truthful without being demeaning.
Yeah.
And I think that's where maybe Vrabel has learned from that now. But when you go back and hear players talk about what Vrabel did in those film rooms, he is embarrassing purposely on people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's embarrassing Taylor Lewan. He's embarrassing all these people by showing up these clips and demeaning them. And I think that shtick wore thin. But then you go look at Brian Callahan, and it's like, it's an overcorrectness. And I think with these three guys that we're specifically talking about, Halfley, Shula, what happened in there?
I got like a taste of jalapeno from my water.
Do you think that's because that plant's fucking it?
Is this a jalapeno plant?
I don't know. But you got Halfley, Shula, and Weaver. I think there's a balance. And I think you have to, with this generation of players they're going to keep coming in, they're going to keep being younger, you have to have that balance. And I feel like you're getting almost the best of all worlds with these guys.
Yeah.
You're getting innovation, modernization, but also kind of a strictness to what they expect because they're being very clear. I think when you start being clear and are able to give in detail what you expect, here are the standards and all that kind of stuff, and then you don't have to demean to keep people living in that world and living within those standards and playing within those rules that you set forth, that's the perfect balance of sustained success.
Boom. There you go, which is what they're trying to build here in Tennessee.
I mean, Chris Shula wants to build sustained success. I heard Anthony Weaver today talk about draft and develop. And we know Jeff Halfley. I mean, like, I will say I would be, and I know New York Giants are a special situation, kind of like the New York Jets. I would be very surprised if Jeff Halfley is not a good NFL head coach.
I would be surprised too. He's kind of on that fast track. You know, like he feels like a guy that maybe in a cycle would be that Ben Johnson type savant. That
if he chooses to kind of pull a Ben Johnson and not take any of these jobs that may come open and kind of like, I'll stay here in Green Bay one more year, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Because you still have Micah Parsons under contract, so why not come back one more year?
I do want to mention before I forget, it is worth pointing out
Jason Eck,
New Mexico head coach. All three of these guys that we're talking about do have pretty good rosters on defense. So you kind of wonder, like, it sounds well and good, but what would each of these three guys be doing if they had the players that Denard Wilson has right now? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, nobody's talking about Denard Wilson being a head coaching candidate this cycle.
Well, he was asked about it today.
Yeah, I liked his answer, too.
Yeah, but I also think it's funny that they're like, I feel like that's a little demeaning to ask these guys, you know, would you like to be a head coach? Or do you think you expect to be interviewing?
Yeah.
Like, I mean.
It's like, no, I don't want to. No, I'm good.
But also, like, if they end up not being interviewed, you're kind of purposely setting up the Titans to look like shitheads.
Look like assholes. Yeah. No, I get that. Because they asked Bones Fossil, too.
Yeah.
At which we haven't even talked about the special teams coaches.
Well, I think he's just going to be there.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how is old boy in Kansas City? How's he never gotten like a head coaching job?
I know.
You know, like there's another one too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know,
the Houston Texans one.
Is it Texans?
Yeah, because are you talking about what Connor Orr said? He was talking to the Houston Texans guy about Dave Tobb, the Kansas City guy.
I listened to that podcast, but no, there was another guy.
Gotcha.
That I can't remember off the top of my head. It was not the Texans guy, and now it's going to bug me. I'm going to have to go look it up. There's a guy that I'm just like, man, you hear his name all the time, and it's one of those situations where it's like with Bill
Craig
Callahan.
Aukerman.
It's like, yeah, Craig Aukerman. Yeah. It's like Bill Callahan. You know, you hear Bill Callahan's name, and everybody's just like, yeah, great O-line coach.
Do you think it's kind of rude that nobody asked Nick Colts if he thought he should be head coach of the Titans?
It was rude. It was rude because Nick Holtz deserves an interview just as much as anybody else. I mean, why not?
I don't know. I think it's kind of weird to kind of set up the. I don't know. I think it's a weird question to ask.
Yeah.
Like I get why you asked that. Like, don't get me wrong, because I know like the media heads when they hear that. I don't know why you asked that. Like, I understand why you asked it, but I also think it's a weird fucking question to ask. Because we all know these guys aren't going to be the head coach next year.
Yeah.
We kind of know.
Maybe we're wrong.
No, I don't think we're wrong. And we kind of know that Denard Wilson more than likely won't be here next year.
Yeah.
And we know Bones Falso's great. But, like, you're asking Bones Falso, who will likely be kept on a special teams coach, do you think he should be a head coach?
You should have put them next to one another and then asked them, Denard. Yeah. Right next to Bones Fossil. Do you think you should be the head coach?
We should done like the dating game.
Bones.
Yeah, the dating game.
Bones Fossil, should you be the head coach of this team?
Is it Chris Tabor? Is that the name you were thinking?
Chris Tabor. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like that's like, I don't know. You're just setting up everybody to look silly.
Yeah. I think so too. Now I'm going to look up Chris Tabor because I was going to say the guy's name was Labor for some reason.
It's not.
The Bills special teams court. That's him. Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
He was also the Panthers interim head coach, right?
Thank you, Z Dean. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Was he the interim head coach?
Yeah.
He was. I remember that. Yeah. Oh, man, I was going to say something, but I'm just all over the place today.
Do you think we covered everything?
We didn't talk about the Jags game, and I think there's just one little interesting nugget that I want to bring up. And I think Kevin Dyson kind of danced around this, alluded to this a little bit on Titans Talkback this week. But Anthony Campanelli, who's another name we're going to be talking about in a couple of years' time, maybe sooner, that he's going to be a head coach one day.
Should be.
The game plan that they had for Cam was kind of like what we were talking about with Brandon Staley's, like rush forward, drop everybody back into coverage, and make the rookie quarterback solve the puzzle, so to speak.
Right.
What I'm really interested to see, now that we know Jacksonville does have something to play for, it's a long shot. They could still get the number 1 seed. At the very least, they're competing for the AFC South to get a home playoff game. So they're going to be playing for something. I'm very curious to see if Cam has progressed against that defense or if Anthony Campanelli is going to throw something different at him to see how he adjusts to that as well. I think it's the last game of the season.
Yeah.
I know vibes are probably not going to be very high. Like, we're all just trying to get through this fucking thing so we can start talking about free agency, the draft, and the coaching search a little more. But I do think that there is some important actual football acumen to glean from this game, is like, how does Cam respond his second go-around against the defensive coordinator that knows his shit, knows how to attack.
Because to be fair, he looked better the second time around against Texans. He looked better the second time around against the Colts.
Yep.
And I admire what Matt Burke and DeMeco Ryans do with. Yeah. But they have like such a better defensive roster. They don't have to be as creative as an Anthony Campanelli.
Sure.
So I'm so interested to see what Anthony Campanelli throws out against Cam Ward, but also how Cam Ward responds. Just like you said, like, it's a measuring stick for where we're going into next year. Even if Cam Ward looks as good as the last few weeks where it's not super sexy, but it looks clearly better than what he has been, that's a huge step in the right direction. If he looks better than what he did in the Jacksonville Jaguars game earlier, huge step in the right direction. That's all you're asking for at this point. Yeah. This is the last time you can ask for it because other than that, you're going to have to wait till next year.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like this season did not go the way that I thought it would go, and now we're just here at the end of it trying to get through.
Well, yes and no, because I think we both thought this was a 5-win season, and we're only 1 win away from being 4 wins.
I don't know. I did not see it this bad.
It's bad, but it's still weirdly on par, right? Like, I mean, when you kind of think about it.
I'll say this. What we've seen the last 4 weeks is kind of what I thought we'd see all year from this team.
Yeah, I will say this, though. If we saw that all year from this team, this would be a team that's probably a 7-win team, 8-win team. And that's not really what we thought it would be.
I feel like I said 7 and 10.
Oh, did you?
It also might be a team that still has a head coach.
Could be.
Going into next year.
Yeah.
So real quick.
Yeah.
I know it's more of a fan conversation that we like to have here at the station or on the podcast. Now that it's the last week, do you guys want them to win the game or just look competitive and lose for draft purposes?
Win the game. Fuck the Jaguars.
Win the game. Fuck the Jags.
I'm on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Fuck them Jaguars.
Yeah.
Them sparkle kitties.
Take them out back and straight fuck them. That's what I say.
Whoa.
Well, there's always that option.
There is.
Yeah.
Up the butt. Coming up the butt.
Don't make it weird.
Well, you made it weird.
Don't make it weird, guys.
Do it for Jason Eck.
Do it for Jason Eck. Yeah, I'm for a win. Like, I mean,
at this point, but the way I described it on 3HL yesterday was like, I get the draft pick argument if you need the quarterback because you got to get that top overall pick to be in control. But since you've got the quarterback, and since this is a draft that I still don't really think is like loaded with blue chip talent, I think it's probably like the first 3 rounds are all going to be like second round talents.
Yeah.
Then just go fucking win games and get some positive vibes going.
To be able to be spoilers to the Jaguars,
it would be awesome.
That would be great.
It would be. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen having as good as a year that they've had together as a pairing, losing to the fucking Titans in the last game of the year while the Texans decimate a Riley Leonard-led Colts team.
Yeah.
And lose out on the AFC South.
I would love that. I would love nothing more.
It would be great.
It would be great. Yeah.
And to me, that's all that matters. The misery of others.
Who gets the number 1 seed in the AFC? If Denver wins, it's them. But if
Is
Denver,
it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Really? The Patriots don't have the number 1 seed locked up?
Yeah, if Denver wins, it's them, and the Chargers are sitting Herbert and potentially some others.
Wow.
I can pull up the Schefter tweet from this morning. He had all the scenarios.
So then I'm guessing it's if Denver loses and the Patriots win, then the Patriots have it. And I'm guessing if both the Patriots and Broncos lose and the Jags win, they would get the 1 seed.
Yes.
I'm not one to wish injury on anybody.
Okay.
My gosh.
But do you remember Christmas Eve of 2016? Nick Ewing on the chat brings this up. Christmas Eve 2016. Jaguars destroy Marcus Mariota's legs. Changed his career for forever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be something in a meaningless game?
Oh, boy. That's...
Well, meaningless to the Titans.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm
not going to say it, but just saying.
That's... Whew. Oh, man. I hope Trevor Lawrence isn't listening. He's going to have his people.
Do what?
Show up in this studio next week and kick our asses.
Kick our asses.
So, yes, the more likely scenario that's on the line is the AFC South title because the Jags will need to win and they need Denver and New England to lose. If the
I can't believe Denver actually can win the AFC.
Yeah, if the Texans
football team.
If the Texans win and we beat the Jags, then Houston wins the South and gets a home game. If the Jags beat us, or if the Jags lose and Houston loses, then they get a home playoff game.
Got to remind people, too, before we get out of here, cheer for the Ravens on Sunday night so that
oh, my gosh.
That draft pick becomes a 4th rounder.
We need that draft pick. Don't do this. I know you love Aaron Rodgers, but don't do this.
This might be his last game, man. I need him to win.
No.
I'll be happy either way. It's fine.
Yeah, we need the draft pick. We need that fourth round draft
Need the
pick.
fourth round draft pick from the Draymond Jones trade.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. This football and other F words, and you have just been effed.